Listen closely, my friends, because what you're about to hear, it's not just words. It's a truth that will resonate deep within your very being, a profound insight that might just fundamentally alter how you perceive and navigate the relentless currents of our modern world. Think about it for a moment. We exist in an era that never ceases its incessant chatter, a world that screams for attention, pushes boundaries, and demands constant validation. It feels, doesn't it, like a perpetual battle simply to be heard, to be noticed amidst the clamor, to carve out a space where you are genuinely respected. Everyone, it seems, is scrambling, raising their voices, desperately trying to outmaneuver the pervasive noise. And if we're truly honest with ourselves, looking inward with a sincere gaze, perhaps you too have found yourself caught in this very pattern. You might have felt the urge to yell, to prove your point, to push back against the tide. But here's the often unspoken truth, the quiet revelation that so few dare to utter, that noise, that constant clamor. It is at its core empty. It's a vast, echoing void that offers no real substance, no lasting peace. What's more, it is profoundly exhausting, draining your spirit and your energy with every shout, every strained effort to be heard. And most importantly, in its very essence, it is a hallmark of weakness, a desperate attempt to assert a power that, paradoxically, slips away with every raised voice. True power, real, enduring, unshakable power. It doesn't need to scream its presence. It has no desperate need to prove a single thing, for its validity is inherent, self-evident. It simply commands quietly, unseen, often operating beneath the surface, yet utterly, beautifully impossible to ignore. That, my friends, is the silent force. It is the strength that doesn't bellow, doesn't demand, but effortlessly, almost magnetically, holds every room it enters, every conversation it graces, every challenge it faces. Take a moment and observe the world around you. Who do you genuinely, deeply respect? Is it the loudest, most boisterous individual in the room, the one who dominates with sheer volume? Or is it the one who stands with an unruffled calm, collected and centered, radiating an almost magnetic presence, seeming to own the very moment without uttering much at all? That, precisely, is the kind of profound, dignified power I am speaking of. It's the very essence, the profound secret that the ancient Stoics mastered. These remarkable men, figures like the emperor-philosopher Marcus Aurelius, the astute statesman Seneca, or the resilient former slave Epictetus, they did not live lives devoid of struggle. Far from it. They walked through the crucible of chaos, endured the brutal realities of war, experienced crushing personal loss, and faced the sting of profound betrayal. Yet, through it all, they did not break. They did not succumb to despair, nor did they lose their precious inner composure. Instead, they transformed these trials into a forge, emerging not only intact, but becoming utterly unstoppable, not by seeking to dominate the external world, but by achieving absolute sovereignty over their own inner kingdom, their minds, their emotions, their responses. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher on the throne, penned these timeless golden words in his personal reflections. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. That strength. It is not fleeting or superficial. It is profoundly silent. It is utterly steady. It is undeniably real. And it is waiting, perhaps dormant within you, but potent and ready to be awakened. Now, Let me be clear. And this isn't some fleeting magic trick, nor a superficial quick fix designed for instant gratification. This is a profound skill, a vital muscle that you build day by deliberate day through the disciplined practice of patience, unwavering self-control, and relentless self-awareness. This silent force isn't about becoming cold, emotionless, or detached in an unhealthy way. On the contrary, it is about mastering your feelings, not suppressing them so that they do not master you. It's about maintaining your unwavering equilibrium, your inner stillness, when everything around you feels as though it's teetering on the brink of collapse. Imagine, if you will, walking into a room thick with tension, filled with agitated voices, people arguing, a palpable chaos hanging in the air. You don't raise your voice. You don't join the fray. Instead, you simply breathe. You stand firm, your presence a beacon of calm. And somehow, almost miraculously, your tranquility permeates the noise, breaking through the din. People instinctively quieten. They listen. They look to you. And in that stillness they find themselves respecting you, not because you demanded it, but because your very being commands it. That, my friends, is the silent force in its most exquisite action. Now, you might be thinking, that sounds profoundly appealing, but how do I get there? How do I cultivate this quiet, powerful strength? And that, precisely, is why I have meticulously crafted this video for you. I am going to walk you through 6 immensely powerful lessons drawn directly from the enduring wisdom of the Stoics and illuminated by real-life application, all designed to help you build that formidable, quiet strength within yourself. Before we embark on this transformative journey together, I want to ask you to make a solemn promise to yourself and to me. Promise me that you will not skip any part of this journey. Missing even a single step means losing a vital piece of this profound power. Promise me you will commit fully and wholeheartedly, because this isn't about a momentary shift. It's about profoundly changing your life. Not just for today or tomorrow, but forever. And finally, promise me you will take genuine action, applying these principles rather than simply watching and forgetting. The profound wisdom of the Stoics holds the key to a mind that is strong, a spirit that is at peace, and a life imbued with happiness. If you are ready to fortify your mind, find inner peace, and cultivate lasting happiness, then you are in the right place. To continue this journey, and to unlock more transformative insights into Stoic philosophy, I urge you to subscribe to our channel, The Stoic Philosophy. Here you will find a wealth of videos crafted to empower your mind, guide you towards tranquility, and help you discover true, enduring happiness. Don't miss out on the journey ahead. These remarkable men, like the sagacious emperor-philosopher Marcus Aurelius, the sharp-witted Roman statesman Seneca, or the resilient former slave and teacher Epictetus, they did not live lives untouched by hardship. Far from it. Their existence was a crucible, a relentless test of their very spirit. Imagine, if you will, the sheer weight of their burdens. They navigated the brutal, unforgiving realities of empires at war, where peace was a fleeting dream and conflict a constant shadow. They endured profound personal loss, the kind that rips at the fabric of one's soul. The death of loved ones, the betrayal of trusted allies, the crumbling of established order. They faced the sting of profound political intrigue and personal treachery, where trust was a luxury and vulnerability a danger. Yet through every harrowing trial, every agonizing setback, they did not break. They did not succumb to despair, nor did they lose their precious inner composure. Instead, they transformed these very trials into a forge, a process by which their character was hardened and refined. They emerged from the fires of adversity not only intact, but becoming utterly, profoundly unstoppable. This wasn't achieved by dominating the external world, by amassing more power or wealth in the conventional sense. No, their mastery lay in something far more profound, achieving absolute sovereignty over their own inner kingdom. Their turbulent minds, their unruly emotions, their spontaneous reactions to life's inevitable slings and arrows. In our modern world, we often seek to control everything outside of us. We strive to dictate outcomes, to manage perceptions, to influence others. But the Stoics understood a deeper truth. True control, lasting peace, and genuine strength stem from mastering what lies within. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher on the throne, burdened with the immense responsibilities of leading an empire, yet still finding time for profound self-reflection, penned these timeless golden words in his personal journal, not for public acclaim, but as a guide for his own soul. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Let that truth sink in for a moment. You have power over your mind. This isn't a suggestion, it's a profound declaration. It highlights the fundamental problem we all face. We often expend our energy trying to control the uncontrollable, the opinions of others, the fickle hand of fate, the actions of those around us, the relentless march of time. We worry about what might happen, we fret over what did happen, and we allow external circumstances to dictate our internal state. We live as if our peace is a rented commodity, subject to the whims of the world. We feel insulted by a casual remark, angered by a traffic jam, frustrated by a minor inconvenience. We allow our happiness to be held hostage by the economy, by politics, by the latest news cycle. This constant external dependence creates a deep-seated anxiety, a persistent feeling of being at the mercy of forces beyond our command. We react impulsively, speak without thinking, and find ourselves constantly buffeted by emotional storms. But the strength Marcus Aurelius spoke of, it is not fleeting or superficial. It is profoundly silent. It doesn't need external validation or loud declarations. It is utterly steady, like a deep-rooted oak refusing to sway in the wind. It is undeniably real, a tangible force that shifts your very presence. And crucially, it is waiting, perhaps dormant within you, obscured by the noise and distractions of modern life, but potent and ready to be awakened. The challenge, then, lies not in acquiring something new from the outside, but in recognizing and reclaiming this inherent power within. The problem is not that we lack strength, but that we have forgotten where to look for it, externalizing our search when the true treasure lies within our own minds. We are like kings who have forgotten their own crowns, begging for scraps when a feast awaits in our own banquet hall. This deep-seated reliance on external circumstances for our well-being is the very cage from which Stoicism offers the key. Unearthing Ancient Wisdom. 6 Pathways to Silent Power. We've uncovered the problem, the ceaseless clamor of a world that pulls us in every direction, and the quiet, potent truth that real power whispers, it doesn't shout. But this isn't merely philosophical contemplation, it's a call to action. It's about practical, actionable wisdom that can transform your daily existence. How then do we cultivate this profound inner strength? How do we access this silent force that commands genuine respect? For centuries, seekers of wisdom have turned to the ancient Stoics, not as distant historical figures, but as timeless mentors whose insights remain strikingly relevant today. They faced challenges remarkably similar to our own: anxiety, loss, external pressures, the struggle for self-mastery, and they developed a robust framework for navigating life with grace, resilience, and unshakable calm. In the following sections, we will delve into 6 fundamental pillars of Stoic philosophy. Each one offers a distinct yet interconnected pathway to building that quiet, commanding strength we've discussed. These aren't abstract concepts to be merely understood. They are mental and emotional muscles to be developed, habits to be cultivated, and perspectives to be embraced. As we explore each principle, I invite you to consider how it resonates with your own experiences and how you might begin to weave it into the fabric of your life. This isn't a race, nor is it a rigid doctrine. It's a journey of profound self-discovery, an invitation to forge an inner citadel that stands firm, regardless of the storms outside. So, let us begin to unearth these ancient gems, ready to apply their timeless brilliance to our modern lives and unlock the silent power that awaits within you. 1. Emotional control, the quiet strength. Within you want true, unshakable power. It begins not with suppressing your emotions nor ignoring them, but by ruling them. Like a wise monarch who understands their people but never lets them descend into riot. Most people in their daily lives are like leaves caught in a relentless wind, tossed and turned by whatever emotion hits them with sudden force. Anger, they explode, often regretting the fallout moments later. Jealousy, they sink into a sullen mood, allowing bitterness to poison their thoughts. Fear, they freeze, paralyzed by indecision, missing opportunities or avoiding necessary confrontations. This isn't a judgment. It's an observation of the common human condition, a testament to how easily our inner landscape can be dominated by fleeting feelings. We are conditioned to react, to give immediate voice to every impulse, to externalize every internal tremor. But the person who begins to understand and embody the Stoic mindset knows this fundamental truth. Power isn't in feeling nothing. Power is in choosing your response. Consider this profound yet simple truth. He who angers you controls you. This isn't just a clever saying, it's a stark warning. The moment you give in to immediate rage or allow panic to seize your reins, you are effectively handing over your most precious asset, your inner peace, your rational judgment, your very autonomy. You become a puppet to an external stimulus, whether it's another person's disrespectful words, an unexpected setback, or even a frustrating technological glitch. The Stoics teach us to create a vital, often overlooked space, to pause, to breathe deeply, to observe the emotion as it arises, and only then to choose our response with deliberate intention. This pause, this tiny moment of self-awareness, is where all your power resides. You don't have to match someone's disrespect with your own. You simply have to outlast it, with unwavering grace and dignity. Think of a mighty lion in the wild. It doesn't respond to every bark from a lesser creature. Why? Because it knows what it is. It possesses an inherent quiet confidence in its own power. And so must you. This kind of emotional fortitude doesn't just earn superficial respect. It protects your deepest peace, your core tranquility. people begin to sense something profoundly different in you, a certain gravitas, a steady calm. They feel it in how you speak, in your measured movements, in your unflinching demeanor when life throws its worst, most unexpected blows. You become like still water, deep, unruffled by superficial disturbances, and holding a formidable hidden strength beneath its calm surface. Let me share a brief anecdote to illustrate this point. There was a man I once knew who worked in an incredibly high-stress environment, a place where sharp words and quick tempers were the norm. Every day, his boss seemed to go out of his way to belittle him, and co-workers often treated him with thinly veiled disrespect. Most people, faced with such consistent negativity, would have snapped. They might have quit in a fit of rage or fought back with equally harsh words, escalating the toxicity, but not him. He cultivated an almost preternatural calm. When insulted, he would listen, his gaze steady, his posture unwavering. He would respond, if necessary, with clarity and quiet dignity, never raising his voice, never stooping to their level. He simply walked through the chaos with an inherent grace. Gradually, imperceptibly at first, then with increasing clarity, people began to look at him differently. They saw his resilience, his unwavering composure. Why? Because he didn't react like everyone else. He had mastered emotional control, and that silence, that profound ability to remain steady when others lost their minds, slowly but surely earned him an unprecedented level of respect. It wasn't loud. It was earned quietly, steadily, fully. If you are striving to gain greater control over your emotions right now, start simple. When something genuinely frustrates you, resist the immediate urge to react, to lash out, to externalize. Instead, observe the feeling. Question it. Why am I feeling this? Is this truly within my control? Breathe deeply through it. Create that crucial space. Give yourself time before you respond, whether it's a few seconds, a few minutes, or even a few hours. Bit by bit, through this consistent practice, you will find your emotions beginning to serve you rather than rule you. Because real power isn't loud, it's silent, it's steady, and it's profoundly respected. It's the deep breath before the reasoned response, the calm gaze in the face of an outburst, the quiet resolve that says, "I will not be moved by this." This mastery transforms not only how others see you, but how you experience the world within yourself. 2. Your presence, louder than your voice. There's a silent force that speaks before you say a word, your presence. Ever walked into a room and felt someone's energy before they even opened their mouth? That's not magic. That's the result of inner stillness, confidence, and clarity showing on the outside. And it's one of the most ancient tools of Stoic power. You don't need to raise your voice to raise your value. In fact, often the inverse is true. You become valuable, truly invaluable, by mastering your presence, the unspoken language of your being. Presence is how your body speaks when your mouth is shut. It's your posture, the way you hold yourself with dignity and poise. It's the steady, direct gaze in your eyes, a look that conveys both attentiveness and inner calm, rather than aggression or avoidance. It's your remarkable calmness under pressure, a quiet stillness that seems to absorb tension rather than contributing to it. It's the way you don't fidget restlessly, the way you listen with genuine engagement without interrupting, the way you seem profoundly unmoved by petty chaos or dramatic outbursts. People feel this. Even if they can't consciously articulate why, they feel it. They sense the solidity, the authenticity, the quiet strength. And in that feeling, they respond with respect. There's a profound quote from Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher who lived a life of remarkable resilience. Don't explain your philosophy, embody it. What does this truly mean in the context of presence? It means don't just talk about who you are, what your values are, or what you believe in. Show it. Demonstrate it in the very way you carry yourself, in the way you move through the world, in the quiet authority of your being. That, unequivocally, is presence. That, my friends, is silent power. Now, let's be entirely realistic. Most people, in our modern, fast-paced society, are deeply uncomfortable with silence. When there's a pause in conversation, they instinctively rush to fill it, feeling an awkward void. When things get tense or uncertain, they often blurt out something, anything, just to alleviate the discomfort. This isn't a flaw, but it often reveals an underlying insecurity or anxiety with stillness. The inability to tolerate silence often stems from a fear of what might surface in that quiet space, perhaps one's own insecurities, anxieties, or unresolved thoughts. But when you are truly at peace with silence, when you lean into it with full awareness and a calm disposition, it transforms from a void into your greatest strength. People begin to gravitate towards your energy rather than feeling the need to pull away or dominate. They sense a quiet strength that draws them in, inviting them to slow down, to listen more deeply. Presence also emanates from a deep, unwavering knowledge of who you are and what truly matters. You don't have to be the loudest voice in the room to be truly seen or to have the most profound impact. Often, it is the quietest person in the room who wields the most genuine power. Why? Because they are observing everything. They are absorbing information. They are choosing when to act, when to speak, and when to interject, rather than simply reacting impulsively to every stimulus. Their silence is not emptiness, it is a reservoir of discernment and deliberate intention. To build this kind of commanding presence, you don't need grand gestures or dramatic transformations. Start small. Incorporate subtle shifts into your daily interactions. Practice sitting or standing with good posture, not rigid but upright and grounded, conveying quiet confidence. Make eye contact, not an aggressive stare, but a warm, steady gaze that communicates attentiveness and respect. Allow others to talk, truly listen to them, and resist the urge to interrupt or to formulate your response while they are still speaking. Don't feel the compulsive need to fill every empty space in a conversation. When you do speak, do so slower, more deliberately, with purpose, choosing your words carefully as if each one carries profound weight. You don't need to try to be powerful. Instead, focus on ceasing the behaviors that make you feel small, that chip away at your inner composure. Stop fidgeting, stop interrupting, stop rushing your words. Presence isn't a gift, it's a profound skill, meticulously built through conscious practice and inner cultivation. And once you begin to truly embody it, you'll discover a remarkable truth. People will instinctively listen to you, not because they are told to, but because they are drawn to your quiet authority. That's the Stoic way. That's ancient, enduring power, felt more than heard. It transforms a mere individual into a magnetic, influential presence, simply by mastering the art of being. 3. Detachment. the ultimate discipline for freedom. Let's talk about something that modern life fights against constantly: detachment. In a world that pressures you to care about everything, status, likes, money, endless comparison, the strongest move is to detach from what you can't control. Detachment isn't coldness, it's clarity. It's knowing what deserves your energy and what doesn't. Imagine for a moment a person who possesses the profound ability to walk away from drama, conflict, or gossip without feeling the compulsive need to explain themselves, to justify their position, or to defend their integrity. Someone who doesn't need everyone to like them, to approve of their choices, or to validate their existence. Someone who can face a significant loss, be it a job, a relationship, a material possession, and not completely fall apart, their inner world crumbling into despair. Conversely, someone who can achieve a great victory, attain a significant success, and not succumb to arrogance, boastfulness, or an inflated ego. That person, through their very being, radiates an undeniable, silent power. Why? Because they are not owned by anything external to themselves. Their peace, their worth, their fundamental happiness is not tethered to the fluctuating tides of external circumstances or the opinions of others. Seneca, one of the greatest and most insightful Stoics, once offered this wonderfully illustrative observation. He is a great man who uses earthenware dishes as if they were silver. What does that seemingly simple statement truly mean? It encapsulates the essence of Stoic detachment. It means that your inner peace, your inherent strength, your unshakable dignity should never, ever depend on external things. Not on wealth, not on status, not on possessions, not on recognition. When you can treat simple, ordinary things with the same calm equanimity, the same quiet appreciation that you would treat exquisite luxuries, you become, in a very real sense, untouchable. Your contentment is not conditional. That, in its most beautiful form, is detachment. Detachment is not about becoming emotionless or indifferent. It is, paradoxically, about achieving true freedom. Freedom from the relentless, often exhausting need for external approval. Freedom from constantly chasing what doesn't genuinely nourish your soul, but rather drains it. Freedom from being emotionally shaken and disoriented by every fleeting opinion, every minor setback, every unexpected outcome. It's the profound liberation of knowing that your inner state is your own sanctuary, a place where external events can knock but cannot enter without your explicit permission. Now, this doesn't imply that you shouldn't feel emotions or pursue meaningful goals. The Stoics were not advocating for apathy. You should feel joy, sadness, compassion, and anger when justified and channeled constructively. You should set ambitious goals, strive for excellence, and work diligently. The crucial distinction lies in the attachment to the outcome. You do your absolute best, you apply your greatest effort and virtue to the task at hand, but you then let go of the outcome. You understand that while your effort is entirely within your control, the result often is not. Let me give you a compelling, real-world example. There was a man who had dedicated years of his life pouring his energy, skill, and ambition into training for a significant promotion within his company. He had sacrificed much, worked tirelessly, and truly believed this advancement was his due. When the day of the decision finally arrived, however, the promotion went to someone else. Everyone around him, knowing his dedication, expected him to explode in anger, to quit in a fit of bitterness, or at the very least, to show profound disappointment and resentment. But he didn't. He simply smiled, shook the hand of the colleague who received the promotion, offered genuine congratulations, and returned to his work with the same quiet passion and unwavering dedication. Why? Because his effort, his commitment, his integrity, those were entirely under his control. The result of the promotion process, however, was not. That man embodied detachment. And guess what? Months later, precisely because he had demonstrated such remarkable calm and consistency in the face of disappointment, he was offered an even better, more fulfilling opportunity, one that surpassed what he had initially sought. Life, in its ceaseless dance, is always testing you. It whispers, "Can I take this from you and watch you break? Can I deny you this aspiration and see your spirit crumble?" And detachment, in its quiet power, answers, "Take it, deny it. I will still be me. My core self remains untouched." You don't need to become emotionless. You need to become emotionally sovereign, where your peace isn't rented out to the world, subject to its capricious demands, where your silence, your calm acceptance of what is, says more powerfully than any words ever could, "You can't shake me." Start practicing detachment in small, manageable ways. The next time you find yourself caught in a trivial argument, practice stopping. Don't chase people who walk away from you. Let them go with grace. Let people misunderstand you. Their perception is their burden, not yours. Do your part, put in your best effort, and then, consciously, let go of the result. This profound discipline will, bit by bit, utterly transform you. You'll begin to feel lighter, stronger, more profoundly peaceful. Others will inevitably notice. They'll inquire, perhaps with a touch of awe, "Why does nothing seem to bother you? How do you remain so calm?" And you won't even need to answer. Your profound, unshakable calm will say it all. It will be the silent testament to your freedom. 4. Discipline, the unseen architect of respect. Let's talk about something that truly separates those who are deeply respected from those who are just temporarily admired. Discipline. Motivation is loud. You hear it in the form of explosive hype videos, inspiring social media quotes, or people enthusiastically saying, "Let's go." But discipline is silent. It doesn't brag about its achievements. It doesn't need external applause or public recognition. It simply shows up consistently every single day, even when nobody else is watching, especially when nobody else is watching. The Stoics did not chase fleeting motivation. They understood its ephemeral nature, its tendency to wax and wane with external circumstances and internal moods. They certainly didn't wait for the right moment, for inspiration to strike like a lightning bolt. Instead, they meticulously built routines, consistent, deliberate practices that over time subtly but profoundly shaped their character. That, my friends, is the deep, fundamental key. Discipline isn't about doing something remarkable once in a burst of enthusiasm. It's about becoming someone over time through the accumulated weight of countless, quiet, consistent actions. Marcus Aurelius, despite his immense imperial duties, cultivated a profound personal discipline. He understood the constant battle against inertia, the daily friction of rising to one's responsibilities. He didn't preach, he practiced. and he captured this struggle and his method for overcoming it in his personal journal, a profound self-dialogue. At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, "I am rising to do the work of a human being. What do I have to complain of if I am going to do what I was born for, the things I was brought into the world to do? Or is this what I was created for, to huddle under the blankets and stay warm?" This wasn't a fancy quote intended for public consumption or philosophical debate. It was a raw, honest, daily reminder to himself, a direct challenge to his own comfort and procrastination. That, in its purest form, is discipline in action. Most people don't truly lack dreams. They harbor grand aspirations, noble intentions, and powerful visions for their lives. What they often lack is consistency. They desire respect, recognition, and success without the accompanying repetition, the often monotonous, undramatic daily grind. But genuine respect doesn't spring from a single heroic moment of effort. It's built slowly, meticulously, like a magnificent temple constructed brick by carefully placed brick, day after diligent day, year after unwavering year. Each small, consistent act of discipline is another brick in that edifice of character and respect. Let me share a deeply personal story that beautifully illustrates this principle. I once knew a man who was remarkably soft-spoken, almost to the point of being unnoticed in a crowd. He never once talked about what he was working on, never boasted about his aspirations, never sought external validation for his efforts. But every single morning, without fail, for years, he woke up at 5 a.m. and began his rigorous training regimen. This wasn't because he had a big competition looming or for any showy public display. He did it purely for himself, for his own inner development and physical fortitude. 1 year later, almost imperceptibly at first, then undeniably, he looked different. He moved differently. There was a quiet strength, a subtle confidence that radiated from him. And suddenly, almost out of nowhere, people began approaching him, seeking his advice, asking for his guidance, drawn to this quiet power. But he never changed his tone. He still moved in silence, his actions speaking louder than any words he could utter. That's the profound thing about discipline. It doesn't ask for respect. It earns it, quietly, consistently, irrevocably. If you genuinely want to build this silent, unshakable power in your own life, start with structure. Don't wait for inspiration. Create the conditions for consistency. Set a wake-up time and honor it every single day, regardless of how you feel. Establish routines that genuinely serve your mind and body. A quiet moment for reflection, a consistent exercise schedule, dedicated time for learning or deep work. Show up for these routines even when no one is watching, even when no one claps, even when the motivation well feels dry. And when you inevitably fail, as all humans do, get up without complaining, without self-pity, and simply return to the path. People often mistakenly believe that power must be flashy, dynamic, or overtly aggressive. But true strength, the kind that commands deep, lasting respect, is found in showing up when it's boring, when it's cold, when it's profoundly inconvenient. That's precisely where silent warriors are forged, where genuine character is chiseled into being. Ask yourself these critical questions. What do I do when no one's watching? What habits truly define me, not just my aspirations? Am I waiting to feel inspired? Or am I already in motion, building momentum through consistent action? Remember this profound truth. Lions don't need reminders to hunt. It's intrinsically wired within them, an instinctual discipline. Make discipline an intrinsic part of who you are, not something you force upon yourself, but something you flow with, an undeniable aspect of your very being. That's the Stoic path. Quiet, unwavering, relentlessly effective. 5. Speak less, mean more. The economy of words. There's power in your words, undeniably. But there's even more profound power in choosing when and how to use them. We live in a time of relentless oversharing, a constant deluge of communication. Everyone seems compelled to speak, to tweet, to argue, to explain themselves endlessly. But the person who speaks with profound intention, who uses fewer words but delivers exponentially more meaning, commands a distinctly different, more elevated kind of respect. That's not just smart, that's profoundly Stoic. The philosopher Zeno of Citium, the esteemed founder of Stoicism, understood the fundamental architecture of human communication. He famously observed, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we should listen more than we say." This wasn't merely a polite suggestion for social etiquette, nor was it about being shy or insecure. On the contrary, it was about being powerful enough not to need the last word, powerful enough to listen deeply, to let silence do the heavy lifting in a conversation. It implies a profound self-control, a wisdom that understands the true value of measured communication. Have you ever witnessed someone who seemed to dominate an entire room, not with a booming voice or aggressive rhetoric, but with just a single, perfectly placed sentence? They didn't speak much, perhaps remaining silent for long stretches, but when they finally did, a hush fell over the room, and everyone leaned in, hanging on their every word. That's because their words weren't mere noise. They were sharpened like a finely honed blade, precise and impactful. They only spoke when it truly mattered, when their contribution would add significant weight, clarity, or truth to the discussion. And when they did speak, they delivered something profound, something true, something that resonated long after the words themselves had faded. Speaking less doesn't mean saying nothing at all or retreating into perpetual silence. It means removing the unnecessary fluff, cutting through the verbose explanations, and getting straight to the core truth of the matter. It means dedicating yourself to truly listening, to genuinely understanding the other person's perspective, and only then choosing to speak when your words will demonstrably add significant value or weight to the conversation. It's about quality over quantity, substance over superficiality. Here's precisely why this approach matters so profoundly. When you consciously choose to speak less, people instinctively lean in more. Their attention is heightened because they anticipate that when you do speak, it will be significant. When you pause, even for a moment before responding, your words carry a palpable intention, an unspoken gravitas. When you don't argue every trivial point or rise to every petty attack, you demonstrate a remarkable degree of self-control and inner composure. This doesn't make you passive or weak. It makes you incredibly precise, intentional, and powerfully discerning. Let me recount a story that perfectly illustrates this transformation. There was a young man, sharp-witted and eager, who always jumped into every debate, every discussion, every argument, every insult, every disagreement. He felt compelled to have the last word, to prove his intellectual superiority. He genuinely believed that this made him seem strong, intelligent, and influential. But one day, an older, much wiser mentor, a man of quiet authority, pulled him aside. "My young friend," the mentor said gently, "you talk as if your words are free, as if they cost you nothing. But understand this, every word you utter costs something. It costs your time, your precious energy, and most significantly, your inner peace. Choose them wisely, for they are your most valuable currency." That profound statement hit the young man deeply. From that day forward, he began to consciously speak less, to observe more, to listen with greater intensity. And when he finally did speak, it wasn't to win an argument, to dominate a conversation, or to prove himself. It was to elevate the discussion, to offer genuine insight, to contribute to clarity, or to provide a thoughtful perspective. Silence, he came to understand, is not a sign of weakness. It is a profound wellspring of wisdom. And when you finally speak from that wellspring, people will not only listen intently, but they will remember you. They'll remember not just what you said, but how rarely you needed to speak to say something truly profound. So, how do you cultivate this potent form of communication, this silent power of the word? Begin by consciously stopping interruptions. Train yourself to listen fully, giving the other person your complete, undivided attention. Don't speak simply to be heard or to fill an awkward void. Speak to contribute something meaningful, to add value, to clarify or to inspire. Embrace pauses in conversation. They don't indicate emptiness, but rather create space for deeper thought and greater impact. Let others fill the space. Let them lead the conversation sometimes. You don't have to compete for airtime. When your words carry genuine weight, when they are chosen with care and spoken with intention, your silence, surprisingly, becomes even louder, even more impactful. People will recall not just your profound statements, but the dignified, unhurried manner in which you delivered them, underscoring the true power of saying more with less. 6. Your reactions, the true mirror of your power. One of the most powerful teachings of Stoicism is profoundly simple, yet often overlooked in the rush of daily life. You are not what happens to you. You are how you respond to it. In other words, your reaction in any given moment is the truest, most unfiltered revelation of your real identity, your core character. Anyone can smile when things are going perfectly, when life is abundant and smooth sailing. But who are you truly when you are unjustly insulted? Who do you become when you face betrayal from someone you trusted? What is revealed about your character when you are pushed to your absolute limits, when your patience is tested, or when unexpected adversity strikes? That moment right there, the instantaneous gap between stimulus and response, that is your ultimate truth. That is the precise point where your inherent power or your underlying weakness is unequivocally revealed. The Stoics, with their profound understanding of human nature, believed that external events themselves are inherently neutral. They carry no inherent good or bad. What gives them meaning, what imbues them with the power to uplift or crush us, is how we interpret them, and more importantly, how we choose to respond to them. This is precisely why one individual can face a devastating storm, a financial crisis, a personal tragedy, a health challenge, and emerge stronger, more resilient, and deeply transformed, while another, facing the exact same wind of adversity, completely falls apart, succumbing to despair or bitterness. The external event was identical. The internal response made all the difference. There's a profound quote from Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist who not only survived the unimaginable horrors of the Holocaust, but emerged with an even deeper understanding of human resilience and agency, an understanding deeply resonant with Stoic principles. He wrote, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." That space, that tiny, precious pause, almost imperceptible to the untrained eye, that is everything. It is the crucible where your future is decided. In that brief, sacred moment, you hold the ultimate power. You can choose silent composure over screaming frustration, profound wisdom over impulsive reaction, deliberate action over uncontrolled emotional outburst. Let's be brutally honest with ourselves. Life will test you. It is an immutable law of existence. Someone will disrespect you, perhaps unintentionally, perhaps deliberately. Something you poured your heart and soul into will fail or not turn out as you expected. You will feel immense pressure, financial, emotional, social. And that, my friends, is precisely where the real work of self-mastery begins. Because when people witness you respond to these challenges with unwavering calm, profound control, and crystalline clarity, it doesn't just impress them, it shocks them. It earns respect in a way that eloquent words, grand gestures, or outward displays of power never, ever could. Consider a powerful, true example. There was a man, known for his integrity, who was wrongly accused of a serious offense in front of a significant crowd, his reputation on the line. Most people, faced with such a public indictment, would have immediately shouted, desperately defended themselves, demanded justice, perhaps even lashed out in anger or fear. But he did something profoundly different. He stood silently. Not because he didn't care, not because he was weak, but because he knew the truth of his innocence didn't need panic or a frantic defense. It simply was. He chose stillness. Later, everything was cleared, his innocence proven beyond doubt. But what people remembered most, what left the deepest impression, was his initial silence, his remarkable restraint, his unwavering composure in the face of public humiliation. Why did it impact them so profoundly? Because silence in the face of unfairness is strength, not weakness. It speaks volumes without uttering a single word. Your reaction in hard, testing moments creates your most indelible reputation. People may not remember every single word you say, but they will never, ever forget how you held yourself, how you carried yourself when life got truly hard. So, how do you build this kind of profound, self-controlled response? It begins with disciplined practice of the pause. When you feel triggered, whether by anger, frustration, fear, or insult, resist the immediate, visceral urge to react. Stop. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself, is this worthy of my precious energy? Is this external event within my control? What is the most virtuous, most rational response here? Train your body and mind to literally breathe through conflict, to find that sacred space before action. The strongest people you will ever encounter in life are rarely loud or outwardly aggressive. They are composed, centered, and radiating an inner calm that is almost palpable. This calm isn't natural for them, a fortunate genetic lottery. No, it is meticulously trained, relentlessly forged in the fires of daily challenges, and consistently practiced in moments of quiet self-discipline. The more you master your reaction, the less others can control you, less external events can dictate your inner peace. And the more grounded and unshakable you become, the more people will naturally gravitate towards you, not for drama or gossip, but for genuine direction, for wisdom, for leadership. Remember this: in chaos, be the calm; in insult, embody the dignity; in betrayal, be the lesson that inspires growth, not despair. That silent, unshakable Stoic power, that, my friends, is truly who you are becoming. The unveiling, your silent thunder. And so, here we are, together at this pivotal moment. You've journeyed through the timeless teachings, felt the palpable energy, and begun to grasp the true essence of the silent, commanding force of ancient Stoicism. This isn't just an intellectual exercise, a mere collection of abstract words to ponder. No, what we've explored together is a blueprint for real, tangible, enduring power. A power that is quiet, deeply grounded, and inherently, universally respected. It's a power that doesn't need to announce itself, because its presence is felt long before any words are spoken. Let's take a breath and truly reflect on what you've just begun to unlock within yourself. You've come to understand that emotional control isn't about ignoring your feelings, shoving them down, or becoming a cold, unfeeling automaton. On the contrary, it's about sovereign rule over them, mastering your inner landscape so that your emotions become your allies, not your tyrants. You've witnessed, through the power of presence, how simply being, without uttering a single word, can utterly transform how people perceive you, drawing them in with a quiet magnetism. You've grasped the profound truth that detachment isn't a form of cold indifference or apathy. It's an exquisite, liberating clarity, a keen discernment of what truly deserves your precious energy and what simply doesn't. You've embraced the understanding that discipline doesn't scream for recognition or applause. It quietly, consistently builds legacies, brick by painstaking brick, showing up day after day when no one else is watching. You've realized that your words, when chosen with intention and precision, matter infinitely more when there are fewer of them. That silence can amplify your message. And finally, you've seen with crystal clarity how your reactions, that sacred space between stimulus and response, don't just shape your immediate experience, but fundamentally forge your lasting legacy, defining who you truly are in the face of life's inevitable challenges. This, my friends, is not mere theory confined to dusty ancient texts. This is not some abstract philosophical concept reserved for scholars or monks. This is real, it is applicable. It is profoundly transformative in the messy, beautiful, demanding reality of your everyday life. And this profound power, this silent force, it is not reserved for philosophers on pedestals, for ancient warriors of legend, or for a select, fortunate few. It is already residing within you right now, at this very moment. It is an inherent capacity, waiting patiently for you to acknowledge it, to nurture it, and to consciously choose to live it. What makes this silent force so uniquely powerful, so different from the clamor of the world, is precisely this. It doesn't need to be loud to be strong. It doesn't beg for attention, it doesn't shout for recognition, and it doesn't coerce compliance. Instead, it effortlessly commands it. People may not be able to articulate why they respect you, why they listen more intently, why they trust your judgment. They may not be able to pinpoint the exact reason, but they will feel it, because true respect is something deeply felt, something earned from within, not something forced upon others through volume or aggression. You don't need to dominate others to wield influence. Your ultimate quest, your noblest pursuit, is to master yourself. And when you achieve that mastery, fully, honestly, consistently, and with unwavering commitment, you become someone who walks through this noisy, often chaotic world, not with a jarring shout, but with a quiet, resonant thunder. A presence so profound it shifts the very atmosphere around you without a single word. Your journey continues. Embrace the silent power. And so our time together, exploring these profound principles of Stoicism, draws to a close for now. You've walked through the teachings, felt the quiet energy, and begun to grasp the immense force of ancient wisdom, not just as abstract concepts, but as a real, tangible power that is quiet, deeply grounded, and inherently, universally respected. This journey of mastering the self, of cultivating inner strength amidst external chaos, is a continuous one. Every video we create here on the Stoic Philosophy channel is a deliberate step on that path, offering you practical insights and timeless wisdom to fortify your mind, soothe your spirit, and help you forge a life of profound peace and enduring happiness. If today's conversation has resonated with you, if you feel that quiet spark of recognition for the silent power within, then I warmly invite you to continue this transformative journey with us. Dive deeper into the wellspring of Stoic wisdom by exploring our other videos. Each one is designed to equip you with the tools to navigate life's challenges with grace, to find calm in the storm, and to unlock the profound potential that lies within your own control. To ensure you don't miss any of these vital insights, any new pathways to a stronger, more tranquil mind, I urge you to subscribe to the Stoic Philosophy channel right now. Hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when new wisdom is shared. Join our growing community of individuals committed to self-mastery and inner peace. Thank you. Thank you for dedicating your valuable time and attention to this message. Your willingness to explore these ideas is a testament to your own quest for a more meaningful and powerful life. May your journey be filled with profound insights, unwavering calm, and the quiet, commanding respect that comes from true self-mastery. We look forward to walking this path with you.